I've been trying to get you to listen to it for a long time.
You would like plan to be like, oh, let's do that album this time, but then it'd be like, well, we're gonna do really extravagant outfits for that one, so like maybe not this week, and then
Yeah.
lo and behold, here we finally are.
Even today, this is not what we had planned.
It didn't really happen.
Just how life goes sometimes.
I'm just grateful that Olivia Rodrigo has popularized the black sparkly diaper, because that's literally what I'm wearing right now. And not even sparkly, and just a real life diaper, because I have to be, because I'm bleeding profusely out of my downstairs orifice, and I don't care who knows it.
Go off, sis.
And it just kind of is the situation at hand, and I've got this weird baseball shaped bruise. Literally actually looks like I have a baseball tattoo. This is my baseball tattoo, you guys. That's from physical therapy.
You love a sport.
I love Angels in the Outfield.
It's a concept album because amongst ourselves, we've talked a lot about how that idea is thrown around a lot and it's attempted by many. And some people think they are releasing a concept album and they're just releasing a regular album.
Yeah. What is a concept album? Sound off in the comments below.
Let's
get it started. I mean, for me, a concept album is an album that has a concept. So
many are already discounted right away.
Yeah, for sure. Like
Peppa Pig, she's gone.
Bluey, I think, is on thin ice. If you were to ask me what my favorite concept album is, it would be the musical Chess. So that's kind of like the standard that I have for what a concept album is. Most people that say like this is a concept album, I would say it's definitely not the Chess soundtrack. Honey, if you don't have a One Night in Bangkok, I don't think it's a concept album.
That's so
one
fucking
song
true.
Has to be One Night in Bangkok of the album.
Yes.
And if it's not there, well,
it's just an album.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't think it has any bearing on whether or not the story is fictional or non-fictional. It's more like from the very beginning notes or words of the album to the very last, it tells one cohesive story, and each song plays a role in the overarching storyline. You don't have songs that are not a part of the story. For me, that is what makes the concept album. So when I heard that that's what this was, I was immediately drawn to it, and I didn't even really read anything more about it other than it was about vampires and it's a concept album, because I was already so sold on that idea. What I compare other albums to fortify the idea of a concept, I think of Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell. That's
right.
One of the very first ones. There's others from that time period, like The Who has their Wizard one, Pinball Wizard, Tommy, whatever. But Meatloaf is much better. Anyway.
Hot take.
Every song has to be about the story, and it has to move the story forward.
So this fits like the classic definition of a concept album, though.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I felt when I listened to it. Like, the music was exciting, but I also could almost like see it unfolding before me, which is not something that I typically experience when I listen to music. I know that you see a lot of colors and other sort of things that I can't visualize when I'm listening, but I sort of experienced some of that with this.
Nice.
Further than forever, deeper than a dream. I was the night, you the terrifying light, and our kiss could end our life. Herself inside me like a stone thrown into the abyss of an ocean. I saw the famous light. I saw agony.
2 minutes left.
I know.
My Armageddon girl couldn't draw her with one look. She'll drain the blood and drain you from the light.
That was a doozy.
Scene. So much to say, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? Well, I'll tell you. What's wrong is that my first thing I have to say is that this is immediately blasphemous for me. As let's continue the concept album discussion, because for me, I would never naturally consume a concept album this way, having to pause each song and talk about it, and I would never ever, the whole point to me is the first time you listen to it to not stop the momentum. You have to listen to it all the way through. But I feel for the point of a reaction video, I guess we could do it that way, but we've already not done it that way. So.
We've already gone too far.
Yeah, I guess I could just unpause it and cut all that out and pretend it never happened, but
I don't want to.
being thrown into this really fantastical world, and there's a lot of information you need to take in all at once, but it sets the scene. Many different genres, many different BPMs, many different sounds, textures.
Is that a good thing for you?
Yeah, it's I always hate when people say, that was a lot. I hate when people say that, because
it means nothing.
It was not a lot. It was many things, but it was not a lot, if that makes sense.
Also not bad.
Literally, yeah.
I could pop off about this song.
Go for it, because I'm still, processing and taking it in, so.
Well, first and foremost, I love that this is the very first song on the album, and I think the song in and of itself tells a complete story.
Right.
The song gives you an intro. They give you rising.
It's the prologue.
Yes, they give you rising action. They give you a climax. Every single thing, it tells a complete story. All right there. It even in the intro and the outro, it just feels so good when they make those transitions into the other sounds. The way you said, there's tons of competing BPMs going on, but I'm right there with them every time they change it. And every time he sings and he gives you a new piece of this story, I'm just give it to me. I really want to know what is happening. All I know is he met some woman and he was enchanted by her and she bit him and then took him down to hell. And that's where he's at now.
I'm glad you said he, because I wasn't even sure of the gender of the person that was singing. It was very much giving Eric from Phantom of the Opera, but that could be any. That doesn't mean anything.
That's true, though. I don't think they've specified at this point, so that's a good point.
Who knows? But yeah, I guess. I don't know if you want to get do you want to get super deep into the lyrics, or kind of just
if you want to look at them, we can. I know most of the lyrics for that song for sure, but I don't care to look at them, but if you want to, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's, the lyric, I might
you
just
might want to on
give them a quick
go for it.
Gander.
And anything you want to replay, or anytime you want to stop, even though I'm vibing, go for it.
Right away, you can see it in my face, I know for sure, but further than forever, deeper than a dream, I was the night, you the terrifying light, and our kiss could end a life. The city was a poison in my veins, I crossed the line between a sinner and a saint. Oh man, I wish I could say what I'm really thinking.
I love how he keeps repeating how she's killing angels just to watch them die. That's already why, I'm ride or die for this bitch. I'm just fuck yes, I'm here for it. Everything he tells me about her, I'm more enchanted, just like he is.
Yeah,
Maybe
phantom,
she's a siren.
a specter in the snow. Oh yeah, when she sunk herself inside me like a stone, I was like, okay, get pegged. We all get pegged. That's how I'm taking it, and that's how he's taking it,
exactly.
Apparently.
Some of his delivery, I would make comparisons to, obviously I said Meatloaf, but...
Yeah, same. I definitely was getting that too.
Justin Hawkins from The Darkness, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, some of that in there. I was not at all familiar with this band at all. Had never heard any of their music. Didn't know what he would sound like, but I loved how his voice sounded on this song. He really drew me in.
Knocking Boots on Heaven's Door. That's a fucking good one. Like, that's like, I don't know. There's something cunty about that.
Yeah, I like how this whole section, he gets so over the top and grandiose. Like, he's saying, cross the line between a sinner and a saint. Get down on your knees and pray. Anyway, just...
Yeah, so get pegged before the world ends. I think
Yes.
that's what this song is about, and I love that message.
The next one is Cry to Heaven. Do you want to listen to this one with the lyrics, like,
Sure.
scrolling?
Or someone called the Yellow Jackets fandom. Wake up! Wake up, Snaggies.
In my backseat, so she can take him for a ride. I've got a brother, lost a baby, and boy, she barely is alive. And this motherless mistress has a kiss she won't survive. Sing along, baby. Cry to heaven, cry to heaven, cry to heaven, cry to heaven. Get down on your knees, get down on your knees. Surrender the devil's spell. Cry to
I love that outro.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, because I honestly wasn't expecting them to bring that whistle sound back at the end, because that was the first thing I was gonna comment on. And I was gonna call back to it, but I don't really need to since we just heard it again there at the end. But I was like, that to me was like the perfect climax to that song. And I know a lot of people would probably say the big key change at the end is the climax of the song, but to me, that felt more like a denouement. I know sometimes the big key change is the climax of the song, but for me, that felt more like, you know, the falling action.
I have a
As
hard
they
time
say.
understanding what a keychain is as someone who doesn't produce music, and I've like tried to read it explained, and I just fail to comprehend every time. So
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth explaining because they're not
Exactly.
really that exciting.
It's so
but
confusing to me, at least.
It could be like a million different things, but it creates that sort of like, I call it like a flying saucer, like whistle effect.
Yes, that's a good way to describe it.
And I fucking love that shit. I eat it up all day long. So, love a little sci-fi in my horror.
Mm-hmm. For me, this song, as soon as I heard it, especially when they get to the chorus and the sing and response, Cry to Heaven, it's so Twisted Sister, and I mean that in the best way. Full on Dee Schneider in this song. Not the storyline, but the sound. This is fully Twisted Sister, and I was so here for it. So I love how it's furthering the story here. Like, they don't give any fucks now. They're just out straight killing people. He's got her kidnapped in the back seat like a victim so that she can, you know, take his unsuspecting male victim for a ride.
Is that what's happening? Because I was wondering. I was
Yeah.
getting a picture, but I think I got it a little bit wrong.
I think he said she's kidnapped in the back seat or handcuffed in the back seat or something so that she can take him for a ride. And like I love the way he says make him beg. That delivery there, if that's not a TikTok sound, it should be.
And this motherless mistress has a kiss you won't survive. That
One
was
of
a
my
good
favorite
line.
lyrics from the album.
Then she's made of wet dreams and carnal urges. Aren't we all? Yeah, at first I thought he was saying that she had him handcuffed to the back of the seat like the male victim, but now I get it.
I see this song being like on people's Spotify playlists for like vampire couples and shit. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're indulging, you know, their bloodlust together.
Right. Love that.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how I got here. Take it away.
They're on their speed metal shit on that song.
Yeah.
Like, the darkness in her is calling to the darkness in him. That's
Right.
what I was picking up on.
Felt like a very sort of like transitional song in like the momentum of the album.
Yes,
and like
that's probably exactly what it was for.
yeah, like when I listen to a concept album that is supposed to be like, you know, we were saying the classic example of like
Every song.
you know, a cohesive story. It's like I think of it as like episodes. Every song is like episodes of like a TV show or a
okay.
mini series, you know. So that to me is like, I don't mean this in a negative connotation, but like more of like a filler episode.
Sure.
You know,
A character episode.
it's not really driving the plot forward.
Yes.
It's just kind of like it's keeping the momentum going, but
That's when they
giving-
would fuck in
Yeah.
that episode.
Yeah. I think I may have heard this song before, but I don't remember it, so it doesn't really matter.
You probably have, because I know I definitely sent it to you. It's the song I thought would appeal to you most from the whole album.
Interesting.
Nothing else to say, because it's best to go in without knowing anything.
Okay.
Trust me, no word of a lie. Like the sins of men, she will strike again. Every man she sees has to die. Speak well, my darling. Have you seen the dark days are coming?
If that's a veiled criticism about me, I won't hear it and I won't respond to it.
It's very Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. If anybody's familiar, that's exactly the sound they were going for, and they succeeded. That song, every time I hear it, I am enthralled. It works like gangbusters on me every time. Everything he says about her, like, I just think she's cooler and cooler. I want to be her best friend. I want to fuck her. I want to be her. All of it. It becomes sexual when she starts murdering the people. You know, she opened his neck like an envelope. She tore open his throat like an envelope. That's sensual. That's evocative language.
Yeah.
I love that. They're telling.
Because
telling
that's
a
something
full
you do
circle.
very like carefully and like demurely,
Yes,
some might
exactly.
say. Very demure, very mindful.
And I
the
love.
way you open an envelope.
Yes.
And you think of tearing open someone's throat as such like a violent, like visceral, like messy thing.
She's
so
savoring it.
Yeah.
And I love how, as he's just describing all of her nefarious deeds, she doesn't really seem to have a predilection for like who her victim is. You know, she just is going for whatever she wants, and it also seems like there's a sexual element to all of it too. And he kind of seems to just be like he's a voyeur. Or he's just getting off on watching it. Is he like a cuckold? Maybe he is.
probably
I just figured that out.
a simp.
I just figured out the secret of the whole album, I guess.
Yeah. I was like really intrigued by the Mercy slaughtered the bride and put a knife in her side and sucked all the life from her neck. And like, you know, that's right before what you were talking about, like the envelope, because it's like you don't really see many vampire stories about a female Oh, no, I was gonna say a female vampire that is like the sort of bad boy vampire trope, like, you know, going around like a gunslinger, just like killing people and
At
draining
will.
them for like fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she gets to be the Ripper. This sort of like lone wolf, like gunslinger vibe from this woman who's just like traipsing around, like, you know, like lazily, like killing these people and eating them. And it's just like, like off to the next thing I'm gonna do.
Kissing Kate Barlow.
Yeah,
The vampire.
yeah, that kind of, exactly.
I love that.
That's the tea.
I love the way you described her. That's exactly.
The gunslinger,
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh yes, Western vampires. Here we are. Let's keep it coming.
That's so true though, because in the beginning of, you know, he's in this song especially, he's taking a narration role. Like he literally says, he's warning the audience about when you go walking, be careful because she might come hunting for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like how that plays into like what you said, how she's the main character and he's just like the simp in the corner jerking off to her.
I've known a few of those in my day.
Yeah.
Some shivers on the fringes of the night. Hide this. Love is living in the clusters of the
Have they used synths like this before?
I don't think so, because I was just gonna say it's almost like we've time traveled.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this is a really great time for them to switch up the sound and the momentum like this, and to bring in a more current sound into right after what we just heard.
Right.
I'm ready to release your final word. Are you ready to receive that kiss of death? But when I see you, me and say across the bed, it's all over. No more victims out in bed. I take a rose for every blood stain on your clothes. Then I hold in submission. Submission.
I like a well-used whip sound in a song. That was well done for me.
Yeah, and I feel like it really lends to my interpretation of this song, which I feel like is sort of like the part of the story where we do see some vulnerability from this character. Because to me, well, I mean, there's a lot to it, but I mean, you know, vampire stuff is usually never just about vampires. Like, that's always just like
Surface level.
right. Anyways, so the point is, I was definitely getting a lot of like addiction metaphor in this song, which is a very pedestrian take, I'm aware, when it comes to vampiric metaphors. But really it was more so about like this line, the knight holds her in submission, and repeating the line submission and using that whip crack sound. And like, unholy ceremony and a masochistic fire, tell me, baby, are these things that you desire? It's like you said, like this continuing imagery of this narrator just watching her do all of these things, and like in this case, like watching her be sort of like self-destructive, it seems, but like
He'll love her anyway. He's not gonna intervene.
well, yeah, but I wouldn't know if I would really say it's like, I guess you could call it love, but more so like he just finds that hot, and like he's reveling in her self-destruction. And like, that's why I was like, I don't think that that's right, the Spotify lyric. I think it's, I'd pick a rose for every blood stain on her clothes, because I felt like that was like lending to my interpretation of like, he, you know, her covered in blood, like in these sort of perhaps both literal or maybe figurative, like self-inflictive wounds, like that is like part of his attraction to her. He's turned on by that.
I see.
And maybe also romanticizing it and like in love with it, but not like, I definitely wasn't getting any sort of like, oh no, I don't want her to be like doing this to herself. He's
Right.
like, he's
gonna let her do what she wants.
yeah. So I thought that was definitely an interesting vibe. And Lovers Led Astray, you know, led astray to an early grave. It kind of was like, you know, in my sort of like addiction metaphor I was picking up on, like she's getting people addicted to her and addicted to her lifestyle and then just like leaving them, or maybe like
And he's one of them.
yeah, exactly. Like, and he's one of her victims, and so like, and like some of these people die, you know, at her hand, and like maybe it's sort of like, you know, when you get into a relationship with an addict and then like you become an addict and then like they leave you and then you're just like
You're still
left
an
with
addict.
this addiction. Yeah. So I was definitely getting that sort of feeling and vibes from it.
I love that interpretation because I had never thought of it that way myself. I love a new perspective.
Let's get lost.
Baby, so tonight, be my teenage sacrifice.
That's probably been the most 80s hair metal sound yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, how we talked about for an album to truly be a concept album, at least one song has to be the One Night in Bangkok, and I think that might have been it. Because for me, what I literally mean by that, well, among many things, is that one song has to, removed from its context, work as an effective pop song, which that one definitely does.
I think that one was a single and it was pretty successful for them. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, and we couldn't see the lyrics on that one for some reason, which is a bit of a shame because there were some I wanted to reference, but it doesn't matter. I don't need to see the lyrics. I got it.
From from my interpretation of it, I think it's like he's taking on a new victim, but he is telling them, like, can you deal with this? That's what I was, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably because I didn't have the lyrics in front of me. I don't know if I was taking it like that literally. More so like teenage sacrifice being a metaphor for like a one night stand.
Oh, okay.
Now I kind of do want to maybe look at the lyrics just to know.
Go
It's
for
like
it.
I can't ever just.
It's odd that only on that
that's
song
open to-
they're not available.
Oh yeah, all my friends are digging graves and I'm handing them the shovels, burning churches to the ground and making love in the rubble. That was some good shit. Those were some bars. Oh my goodness, and he said bleeder of the pack. I didn't realize he said bleeder of the pack. I thought he said leader of the pack. See, I knew these lyrics were giving.
So he's like staking her out almost.
When you wash the blood from your hands, can you live without your life? I just wonder what that means. I mean, I'm getting some kind of Macbeth but I think I'm always just one step away from Macbeth. So
So much. I love that. I totally get that.
I mean, that kind of is like
I love
Lady Macbeth. Yeah,
you
get what I'm. Yeah,
I love the pre-chorus line when he says, "We're born to be addicted to tragedy." I guess I had never looked that line up before, or comprehended it before this moment. But I love that.
Yeah, I feel. Oh my god, as a music video, like if they did like like a Macbeth, like some sort of like kind of stage performance to this song. Oh, that would. I'd be like Ethan Hawke in the ballet audience.
I haven't watched their videos, but they look like they're just someone doing drag, but like that's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. I know.
About halfway through at this point? Just past the halfway mark? Definitely a cut.
And also that's very Shakespeare. I was feeling the cymbal crash on the outro there. I love the cheekiness of the line, "She's getting laid but not to rest." She's just there to fuck.
Yeah.
I wanna fuck. They wanna fuck.
Penultimate track.
Now we're on the bravery, bitch. The used. I don't know what your name is, but the drummer of this band, I see you and I acknowledge you. You're doing a good job.
I was gonna say, I love when a song sounds like exactly what you think it's gonna sound like when you see the title. Like when I saw Black Heaven, I heard a sound in my mind, and then we played the song, and that was it. So
Love that.
that was pretty satisfying to experience.
I like how this song moves along the story, because where we kind of were at the last song, we were not necessarily totally certain like what exactly he was talking about, but I think I have a better idea now. Like, this is a new person that he has put in this, undead state, but they're maybe not yet a vampire, and she's like doesn't want to fuck with him, just like the original girl, the Kissing Kate Barlow. That's what I am picking up.
Interesting, because I don't know if I was definitely getting like something similar, because at first I was like really trying to understand where we were at in the story, especially with the line, "You love a specter, a handsome mentor who's barely there at all." Although, while I do just quickly want to say, like, as a lyricist myself, "A head to sever in winter weather, give yourself to me, apply the pressure, consume the flesh, and fire will walk across all time with me." Again, bars. Was loving that. But I was like, I don't really know what you're talking about. But then I felt like I was understanding it and back on track with the story, with like this sort of bridge and outro, with the lines, the "untake my life, unbreak my stained glass heart, and God's kingdom will come crashing down, chained up to the dark, all embrace annihilation," and then it's repeating the "untake my life, unbreak my stained glass heart." So I was getting kind of like, I don't know if it's the original narrator, but I was getting someone that's like begging to be turned into a vampire, or like wants to live like this undead eternal life with either the woman we've been talking about, or because that's what was kind of confusing to me. I'm not entirely sure who's talking and about who, but like that's what I like in the die for me, you said you would, you promised me, let's take a life, let's agree to make our home in black heaven. So it's like, I don't know, this sort of like, I guess like that's kind of what I was getting from it, that like the original woman had made these promises to the original narrator, like, if you do this for me, then like we'll be in black heaven together, and like after all this time he's still like waiting for that and like begging for it.
I get you. I like both interpretations.
Yeah. Tell me more about yours.
I was thinking, so when he's still hung up on like the original girl, but like he can't have her or whatever. So when he's like pleading about this shit, you said you would, like, blah blah. I think he's talking to both of them all throughout this song, and that's why he's saying like I don't know, he's begging someone to die, but then he's also saying let's take a life. So like, who exactly is he talking to? I think we're not necessarily meant to know. Like he's in a mess in his head, and that's why the song sounds like it does.
Yeah. Because I almost felt like he was repeating words that she had said to him, kind of in like a mocking way, coming from this place that's like both resentful, but all like it's the first time he could maybe be showing any sort of bit of resentment for her, but still in this very like erotic, passionate, like romantic way. Like even though he might be angry, he's still like,
he's still a simp.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry, I feel like I keep cutting you off.
No, you didn't. I said basically everything I had to say. This is the second to last song, I think.
I know.
Penultimate.
So we're still interesting. Okay, I'm gonna like go back so we can go right into the finale.
Take my life, unbreak my stained glass heart.
Talk about a plot twist. I just saw the upcoming lyrics.
I played a teenage apparition. You played a Lorraine Warren type, and exercised this haunted heart of mine. But this world keeps breaking all the time. I know that our love is cursed, and I can't find a cure. See you in hell if I don't see you before. I know that our love is cursed, and I can't find a cure. But I will love you more than death.
Made it through. Barely. Really gagged me there at the end. I was not expecting that at all.
The tape. No, which part?
I mean, so much of it. First of all, I wasn't expecting the sound. It was like an Iron and Wine song there at the beginning, and for like a couple, it like went in and out of that sort of like, alt folk sound, which I thought was super interesting and a great note to end on. I mean, I love that sound, so I was like, that really took me by surprise. And I mean, the lyrics, because at first I was like, oh, is she dead? Did she die somehow? And like, but I don't, well, I mean, do you want to start with what you interpret?
I want to listen to everything.
Because like him saying, no reflection in the mirror. Well, I mean, first we got to go back, like, because I think he says that before, I want to die for real this time. But like, when he says, I played a teenage apparition, you played a Lorraine Warren type, and exercised this haunted heart of mine, that this world keeps breaking all the time. Girl.
What?
Girl, that just really gagged me. Like, I saw those lyrics ahead of what we were listening to, and I felt like that was a huge plot twist in this story. I mean, maybe I'm taking it too seriously, but...
Which part? I just want you to explain. What is the gag?
I played a teenage apparition, you played a Lorraine Warren type.
Woo!
Woo! I don't know what to say, especially with, the song Teenage Sacrifice. It's like, it's really putting him in the victim position and putting her in like the predator position, which we've known the whole time, but like that's not really like a nice way of putting it. That's a bit more like...
But also the way right after that line he says, exercise this haunted heart of mine, that implies that she brought it back to life.
Right, it's like good and bad.
Yeah.
Like, you like changed my life and made me into this new thing, and there's so much good that comes with that, but there's so much like trauma that comes with that as well. I'm a bit confused about like where she is. I'm like, is she dead?
No, they're both, they're in the same existence.
Yeah.
It's just him coming to terms.
That's what I was thinking, because at first I thought she was dead because the grief was just so like intense from it, and like, I want to die for real this time. But that's the next thing I was thinking.
Yeah, I think the piece of new info, so to speak, in this song is that he wants to die for real now because he knows she won't reciprocate his love, and as we heard in other songs, he tried to find others and it's not working out. He wants to be dead, but for real. I like how it ends on that note after him taking all this revelry before in the lifestyle and just watching, getting off on how she was living it up as the ultimate vampire, basically.
And now I understand. You're in love with a specter, a mentor who's barely there. That's death, because she's in love with death. And that's why he's saying, but I'll always love you more than death, even though I know you'll always love death more than me.
Mm-hmm. They really did it on this one, though, right? They put their whole pussy in it.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Van pussy.
That's a better one. Darn it.
We got there in the end.
We did.
But
I love this album. So fun. Just really fun to listen to. I think that's what I take away from it.
And we've been talking, how we've been talking about closer songs flopping. Another case of a closer song not flopping.
Exactly.
There are dozens of them out
Yes.
there. So yeah, I mean, that was like great, obviously. Total breath of fresh air. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but there were definitely tons of surprises. And even after I felt like, oh, I get it, I'm in the vibe, you know, they would switch it up and bring in a new sound and a new feeling and a new element to the story. So very interesting character work, lyric work, like I felt like just sort of like weaving in and out of genres, and you know, like I said, it gave it that feeling of like so much time passing that by the time you get to the end of it, it really is so devastating and heartbreaking. Like this is like centuries and centuries and centuries of like unrequited love.
Yes.
Which is always, you know, I mean, that's what's so gaggy about vampire stories.
Also, that song that they had, like she said, that was the interlude, I think it's called The Abyss, that song really pops off. It really does. I mean, it just acts as a transition from one scene to the next.
And I wasn't expecting that either, because it really wasn't like the right time for an interlude, if that makes sense. But that was like the point of it, is that it is a bit jarring, and it is like a quick tonal shift that, like, you know, maybe you weren't ready for, but it's still happening, and you just have to keep going and keep, you know, seeing it out to the end of the story.
I've listened to this album a lot, and I seem to like it more and more each time. It really grows on you, and I don't even really think about the overall story of it anymore. I'm just like, vampires, fuck yes, killing, sex, I'm
blood.
into it. Yes, exactly. Think of this like True Blood, but gothic.
Yeah, like in the vampire bar, like at the goth club.
Yes.
Like a real vampire bar, not the vampire bar in True Blood. But if you've ever been to a real one, which I have,
Victoria,
I've been to...
is that what they called it?
I don't remember, but I've been to multiple vampire bars. One, a literal real one in New Orleans that you have to have a password to get into. And honey, I got the password, and it was dramatic to get it. They didn't want to give it to my friends at first, and I had to finesse, but I did. And we got in. It was all right. The vampire bar was just okay. Like,
Toy Story 2 was okay.
Yeah. Exactly. 3:33. Perfect time to end it.
Yeah, we have to, because
oh yeah, she's like she's getting possessed by a demon, a spirit, an angry spirit.
But only on one side of my body.
True. I'm cold, but just right here. We need some final parting words, though, I guess.
Any lyric takeaway for you? You want to end on with a line that you liked?
I mean, I liked a lot of it's and then we haven't even really talked about the title of the album itself, Saint-Mouveur.
Do you know what that means? You should Google it really quick.
Eating blood, I would assume.
Something like that, yeah.
I speak a lot of languages. But I mean, that's what we do.
I love this album. I hope you guys do too.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's the perfect title for it. And, you know, because we've talked so much about, like, it being so much about the bloodlust itself.
Yes.
Like, the bloodlust itself, the play is the thing. The blood is the thing. The blood is the thing, and that's the moral of the story. The blood is the thing. And also get pegged before the world ends.
Slid inside me like a stone.
Sank inside me.
Yes. She sank her teeth inside me like a stone.
But I also think she sank her dick.